I'm CK. We haven't done anything from Shakmat in a while, so I grabbed their Archer's rig. It's a noise generator with lots of presets, ability to create 96 of your own presets, and I think a lot of other things. It's designed to be the basis of HiHat or other high-pitched percussion in their description, even though I'm sure we can use it for a lot of other things. So we'll put it together, see how easy it is to go together, and then see how it sounds. And I hope you enjoy the video. The bag from Shakmat out of Brussels in Belgium came to us from thonk.co.uk as usual. It's an 18 HP eurorack module built and designed in the EU. Reference number K01. That must mean Kit 1. So I don't know if anybody else has built this. I also don't know how I'm going to get into this. Let me get my scissors out and cut it along the top, because the glue seems rather persistent. Yep, we get a couple of knobs falling out first. These are good knobs, kind of rubber-like, but they've got little little things to make sure they align correctly. Oh, there's 4 of them. We got some bags. Power cable. Oh, that's a full 16 pin. Huh, on both ends. Interesting. Usually they do a 10 pin on one end and a 16 pin on the other end. But they're not communicating with anything else. I mean, the higher pins are for signals, sync signals and so on that most people don't use. But we'll see what happens. There's the circuit breaker, and they have to connect to something. I'll figure it out when we get there. Okay, that's the end of that bag. It's a bag filled with bubble wrap, so it's not recyclable. Now this says it's 8 HP, and the bag says, hold on, let me grab it out of the trash again. And the bag says 18, but this sure looks like 8, not 18, so this bag must be wrong. Which, if that's the only wrong thing, that's great. A Shakmat sticker, a couple of Shakmat stickers. I do not have this one yet. I have these other 2 already. Okay, there's instructions. Oh, it's got a bunch of effects too. Ring modulator, comb filters, metalizer, LFO on tune. It shows the architecture, and it shows all the noise sources. There are a bunch. Metal 808 for a TB808, XOR, DR101, 909, double EEPROM, frequency modulation, cross FM. Wow, it's got a lot of stuff. Effects, VCA and envelope, filter type, and a randomizer and velocity, and all the memory. So there's a whole bunch to this. That's pretty good. Current draw is 100 milliamp on the 105 milliamp on the plus 12, and 45 on the minus 12, which is pretty power hungry as such things go. Let's look at the circuit board. I'm going to guarantee there's a bunch of surface mount pre-installed. Yeah, whole bunch. Mostly there's a timing crystal here. Let me see what frequency. 4.1 meg frequency. Then a whole bunch of stuff. There's a jumper here for looks like clock, but I'm not sure because it, oh no, there's a resistor to go in there for that. Let me pull this jumper off and see if it says anything underneath. Nope, I'm going to put it right back where it was. So that's the back of circuit board 1. Then we've got, come on, circuit board 2, which has a bunch more. Surface mount already installed, but there's a whole bunch to do. There's a bunch of pots, 4 pots, a display. These look like switches. Those look like switches too. Something here, I'm not sure, it might be another switch. Then a bunch of jacks. And on the back, nothing. Now we'll look at the front panel. Oh, I guess we've got a bunch of LEDs here. I didn't notice that. Okay, let's look at the front panel itself. And we've got decay, which is a pot, but it also looks like it has, it has a switch next to it. Huh. Closed, it says. And then there's a trigger, so that will be a manual trigger, and this calls it a HiHat synthesizer. Then select, and you hold for random, and source, and there's a bunch of, those are the LEDs, there's a filter, there's the effect. I don't know, oh look, the plastic panel is already in there. Effect depth, I'm going to say, or, because this is probably, these are two buttons, so that probably changes the effect, but this is the depth of the effect, I'm going to guess. And tuning, save, load, those are switches. Then a preset jack, so I guess you can ping it with CV to change the preset. CH trigger, filter, effect, these are all inputs. Trigger, filter, effect, tune, that's CA, oh, closed hat and open hat. Oh, okay, so that's what the closed is. I'm going to say that's for a closed hi-hat and open hi-hat triggers. Velocity, decay, and the output. So as you can see, there's a good bit of stuff to do. Let's see what's in this bag first. It's all the pots and jacks and pin headers and switches. So I think some of these switches there must be at least one locking switch. I think the closed one has to be a locking switch. I mean, I could be wrong, obviously. These are all momentary switches. Now you may notice there's no panel nuts on those, on anything, so that must be in this other bag. Yeah, this bag must have all the panel nuts in it. And I also don't see the display yet. It's not stuck in there. Let's take a look at that. I'll put this in a different bin since they separated them in the packing process. I'll separate them here. Okay, there's the digital display, little display. And here's the switch I was looking for. Oh, that's a momentary push, but it's illuminated, I believe. Oh, and they've got different colors. This one's obviously the red one. And these are not marked. Oh, this is green. And these must be white or they don't care. And then we've got some LEDs. And since my LED buddy is busted, I'll use my meter to see what color the LED is. Turn it to resistance, then set it to continuity, so there's a little bit of current passing through, as you can tell. Now we'll take a look at the color. That's amber. I'm going to switch this around, see if it's reverse color also. No, it's a full diode in the other direction. Let me check one more, just to see if that's also amber, or we're going to have to figure each one of them out individually. No, that's amber too, so I'm going to assume they're all amber. And there's our panel nuts and our mounting to the rack screws, but of course we use Bafaco's Nerlis for that. And we've got another couple of, we've got some switch caps for these caps. So, while it's mostly surface mount, there's a good bit of stuff for us to do here. I'm glancing at the build guide and looking for, I brought it up before we went to the interval, which I usually don't. And I'm gonna, the instructions look very good, step by step, and they're using many of the same techniques I use. that I talk about in all my videos. Just glancing through, seeing if there's anything unusual. They tell you how to orient these switches. These switches have a particular orientation. You can see there's a little, you can see there's a little stripe that they put, and there's a little raised portion too. So they show you how to do that. No, the instructions are very good, very in-depth. Looking all through it, making sure everything looks grand. Man, they really go in great detail on how to assemble this, which I think is really great. If you don't need all the detail, you just don't look at it. But if you do need the detail, it's here for you, and that's really nice. I don't think there's any calibration required on this. Oh, when you power it up, you press the closed and trigger buttons, and that will, then you confirm by pressing load, and you wait and press save, because that's what it's loading from its EEPROM into, or even static memory, I don't know, into the microcontroller, which I assume is that 48 pin? Probably. So that's it. Looks like some good stuff to put together, and a lot of control of the output sound generation, so that'll be fun. I'll get the soldering iron heated up, and we'll put this thing together. So the first step in the build guide is to set up the pin headers, and they would like us to do it the way that I do usually. Sometimes I don't, but usually I do. I didn't used to, but then I really got seeing the sense of it, and that's putting the pin headers all together and finding the last one. And then we'll get them organized pretty much like so. We'll put this one here. Actually, we'll do it the other way. Don't be stupid. Do it the right way. Don't do it the stupid way. For crying out loud. Now, we have the females on the top at this point. It doesn't really matter if you do the males pointing up or the female pointing up. It doesn't really matter. It's rare that it does. There are some cases where you might find a kit where there's some interference, but it's so rare to not even worry about it. Just go ahead and test fit everything first is always a good idea. And making a big mess here, which is what I'm doing right now. Why am I not getting this right? It's like this back one is not supporting me in my efforts. Now we've got 2 out of 3, and this one's all cattywampus because it's off by 1. There we go. Now they're all there, and we will start by getting one pin here on that one. One pin here on this one. One pin here on this one. Then we'll flip our little board sandwich over. Wow. So whoever did they hand soldered these 2 jumper sets. That's interesting, because they flowed everything else, reflowed. So that means they're all together, they're all lined up, and when we take them back apart and put them back together later on, we will be sure that they'll go back together. I'm reaching down to get my piece of solder. I ended up on my foot wrong. Now I'll solder all these pins. Now we will take it back apart again, because we've got stuff to do here. And first we're going to do on this board. Interesting, because you'll note here that the second board is shorter than the first board, so we're going to put the pin header, the power connector on the top board instead of the bottom board, which is interesting. Not good, bad, or indifferent, just interesting. And I'm going to get a little piece of foam to support that while I solder it, so I know it's going to be flat. But even though I was supporting it, I'm going to pick it up, take a look, make sure it's completely flat to the board, and it is. Now the whole time we're doing this, be very careful, because there are surface mount components all the way along next to where you're soldering, and mainly only with the power connector. These have a lot of space, and you don't want to brush your soldering iron tip or touch those components. Looks like he's got some Talon caps in there. Huh. Okay, so the power header's on. And now we're going to start loading up on all our pots, knobs, and switches. And we are not going to be soldering them yet, of course. And the switches are rectangular, but they are not square. So you can only reasonably put them on one way. Make sure they're all flat, and they are. Now the pots, and we'll check all the pins to see if they are, are they all the same? I think they're all 10K, but I don't think I looked. Oh yeah, they're all 10K. Now we're going to take one of the green LED buttons, and that's got the green symbol there, and we're going to look, and if you look on the bottom, first I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. You'll notice there are 6 pins for, excuse me, 6 pins for where the conductive legs go, but then there's 1 2 round hole and 1 square hole. And if you look on the bottom, you'll see there's a little square rectangular protuberance and 2 round pegs. So that tells you how to orient this. And you want to get it right. Getting these backwards will cause it not to work. I could be more creative in my language, but I'm not gonna. It just will make it not work. Make sure that's flat. It is. And then we're going to put an amber one in, even though he's got a red stripe on it instead of an orange stripe, which is fine. But that goes below this one right here. Ooh, that pin is really bent. Well, I'm going to put this one in backwards, just for experimentation's sake, and I'm going to zoom back in.
if you'll see here, this one is oriented correctly and there's no gap underneath it. This one's the one I just put in backwards, and you can see there's almost a millimeter and a half gap under it. So if you just take a little look after you've put it on, you'll see if you've accidentally gotten one or two of them incorrect. Because again, now it's fully flush, which is good. And now we're going to do the jacks. And these two rows, the jacks share a ground pin. Which can be a little bit of a problem sometimes, but it looks like this circuit board manufacturer, hold on a second, this is not going the way I want it to. There we go. This circuit board manufacturer made these shared pins about double the diameter, so there's plenty of space to get both pins in. You're not fighting it at all. There's all the jacks. And now we're going to put all the amber LEDs in, which are the clear ones. Oops, we don't want a panel nut there. Now let's see how their polarity is marked. Okay, so the, let's see how he describes it. Oh, but he doesn't. Okay. So if you look here, and I'll zoom in again, on these LED symbols, there's a flat line here at the top of them. That's where the cathode will go. The short leg, the long leg will go in the hole that does not have that, because that's to match the flat side on the LED. I'm going to see if he actually says that. That's surprising. Oh, yeah, he does say that. He has a little diagram. I just didn't notice it. Now, one thing you might notice already, there's going to be a slight bit of soldering very close to the pin headers. Like here, it's way close. You're actually going to be touching the plastic of the pin header. So you can expect to smell a little burning plastic. Those are all in place, and I think, oh, the 7-segment display, here it is. And as is typical with these displays, I'm going to set this down so I can pull this out. Ooh, those are long pins. Huh. Those are awful long pins. And this is typical on these segmented displays. There's a dot here to show you where the lower right is, and there's a dot on the circuit board printing to show you how to get it in there correctly so you don't get wacky numbers. Okay, he's talking about he doesn't want the LEDs to protrude through the front panel. He wants them to be flush, not protruding. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little masking tape, 7-day tape, whatever, painter's tape, whatever you call it in your experience. And we're going to put it across where these LEDs are going to poke through. So they'll line up flush when we put everything together. I'll talk about that when we actually do that. Now it's time to put the front panel on. First we're going to go through and push everything, make sure everything's flat, because we've been manipulating the board a little bit and things can shift around. So we'll see what's holding this up. The pots are okay. That button is not going quite in. There we go. Now we go down here to this end where all the jacks are, and I'm sure we'll have to do a little massaging of those. This button is a little bit. Okay. So we haven't done anything with the LEDs or the multi-segment display yet. And this came back out. Why did this come back out? So that's everything there. Now, he wants you to put the panel nuts on now. I'm not going to do that quite yet. I'm going to get my little, and this is just my habit, it's not good, bad, or right, wrong, or indifferent, it's just what I do. I'm going to take my little clamp and I'm going to clamp the front and the back together. And this is a Wolfcraft clamp. I get it from Home Depot in the United States. I'm sure you can find the equivalent. And I'm going to check everything, make sure nothing is binding. And now I'm going to do what he says, but I'm going to do it slightly different order than he talks about. I'm going to solder the legs of the potentiometers first, the support legs, not the main pins, but I'm going to solder them first. Now I'm going to take I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to put the panel nuts for those pots on. Yep, that's my 8 mil. It's 10 mil. Why is it? Hold on a second. He's not using 10 mil panel nuts. I got to go get a different socket from my toolbox. I'm going to turn off the cameras too because they're going to time out in a couple of minutes. I had to grab an 11 mil socket out, not a 10 millimeter. That's unusual. Usually these are all 10 mils. I wonder who made them. And they're not imperial measure because the 10 mil fits them perfectly. They just happen to be 10s instead of 11s. With those 3 down, I can get rid of my clamp because we're soldered on one side and have 3 panel nuts holding it down on the other side. Oh, you also notice these are stubbier potentiometer shafts than I usually see. Now, he'd like us to do all the panel nuts. I'm looking to see at what order he's doing this in. Okay, he's just going step by step by step by step by step on every single thing, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. I'm going to go ahead and solder the lot. I'm not going to solder the LEDs yet because I want to talk about them, but I'm going to solder all the jack points and these switches, and I'm double checking. Oh, I'm going to do this before I solder the switches. I'm going to put the button caps on and make sure they're not interfering in any way with anything before I solder them. So if I have to make an adjustment, I can before it's soldered. Okay, those are all good. All the buttons are not interfering with the front panel. So I'm going to solder everything except the LEDs and the segmented display. And I think I'll turn the cameras off for that because there's nothing to say about it, just a bunch of soldering to do. All those pins are done. Now we've just got the LEDs and the multi-segment display. So we'll do the multi-segment right now. I think that's pretty well aligned with the window on the front. So we'll just do one pin. Take a look. Looks fine to me, so we'll do all the rest of the pins. Trim those leads just so they're not in the way. Now we'll do the LEDs, and we want to look and make sure they're in the holes. But again, you don't push them real hard because they're up against this tape, so they stay flush with the front. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder one pin on each of them. And once I've done that, I'm going to do this. I don't know if he says to do this or not. I'm going to pull the tape off and just make sure they're all very flush and even. So, and that's why I only did one pin, because in case they weren't, I could reheat that pin, move it around a little bit. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to trim off those pins that I just soldered. Not both pins, just the one pin. Now I can do the other leg. Pin leg, I use those terms interchangeably, obviously. And again, the only challenge here is you're right up against this pin header with those four legs. A little bit of a pain to get at them. There we go. This one didn't go quite right. Now we are done with soldering, except this one looks a little gloopy. There we go. So I'll take a little index card and I'm going to look at every solder connection. Make sure all the solder joints look good, and more importantly, make sure all the solder joints have actually been soldered. I have done this in the past and said, oh look, I missed something. This time I didn't, which is all good. I'm going to turn off the soldering iron because we won't need its surfaces anymore. Let me clean the tip one more time. Now, I'm going through his instructions again. He goes very step by step on the soldering, so which is great, but we didn't need to do that. Okay. Next, we're going to put the boards back together. Again, pin headers are all aligned because that's the way we built it. Now I'm going to get my two more things. We'll do all the panel nuts for the jacks, Now we'll put the knobs on, and again, you don't have to worry about getting them perfect because there's a flat spot on the shaft and there's a guide that goes onto that flat spot. So it should align pretty straightforwardly, and it does. Now you'll notice as I'm pushing this knob on, I'm not holding the circuit boards with my fingers, I'm holding the aluminum front panel with my fingers because I don't want to flex the circuit board or potentially damage a component. It's very unlikely that you'd do so, but it's just good hygiene. Now we'll get our 16-pin power connector, and it shows you right here 12 volt. There's a white line, and that's where the red line on the ribbon cable, the red wire on the ribbon cable will go, like so. Now that's it. So that's the front, that's the side, the back, the other side, the top, and the bottom. Took about 50 minutes to do it all, which is not bad. And now we'll get it in the rack because there's no calibration that I can do on the bench top here, and it auto calibrates when you start it up. So I will put it in the rack and we'll give this fella a whirl. Let's turn this fella on, and we're going to power up with the closed and trigger buttons pressed down. If I can get there. There we go. Power on. And it's flashing. Confirm by pressing load. And now it's doing things. Wait. It says wait. So we're waiting. Okay, now we've got an F. Make sure no jacks are inserted. Press save to continue. Oh no, it may not be ready yet. Because I think it'll stop flashing. There we go. Now we press save. And that's it. Okay, so we're up. It's reloaded everything that it was supposed to and did all its stuff. I'm going to check to make sure my microphone's on. Yes, it is. Okay, good. So let's plug some output in first, just to play a little bit. And we'll turn the amp up and hit the trig button. So that's that. I'm going to turn the effect all the way up. I'm going to turn tuning down. Okay. Now I'm going to go to FX. Change it maybe. Oh yeah. Now that's not as interesting as it could be, so I'll go ahead and plug an LFO into, where the heck is this coming from? LFO into CH trig, which is closed hat, I believe. I'm going to slow that down just a little bit and increase to K. Oh, that could be this one. See, this is source, FX, filter, range, gain, and volts. I think volts, but I'm not sure. I'm going to go back to FX. You can hear it changing a little bit. And where's my little piece of paper? So
Now we'll go to filter type. Oops, filter type. And this is a high pass filter, a 3-pole high pass filter. And we're going to get band pass. No, that's resonant high pass. I'm going to increase decay a little bit. There, so it's filtering way there. Then we'll do, I think it's band pass next. Yeah. And then peak. Take the effect out for a minute. I'm going to go to open hat trig. And cycle through the filters now. Filter. Okay, now we're going to go to RNG. Well, I'm not sure what that does. So we're going in order. So we'll do gain, normal volume, and then you can add distortion. We're at distortion. That's nothing. Here's normal volume. Oh no, I'm still in. I'm sorry, I went away from gain. A is, I don't know what A is. It's supposed to be distortion, but I'm not hearing anything. That could be my fault, of course. Go to the next one. Velocity. Okay. Go back to source. I'm going to cycle through some more of those sources. That's an 808 XOR DR110 noise, a white noise, granular to make shakers. I'm going to go back here to gain. I'm too low on gain. That's the highest I can get it. Interesting. Where was I? I'm going back to source. EEPROM, FM, cross FM. Resonant.
change FX again. To bell, theoretically. Sine, simple sine wave. And an external, which I'm not going to be using right now, even though I could. Let's see, external source, patch your external signal into tune CV. Where is tune? There it is. And I'll take my even VCO. So that's coming out of my sequencer and even VCO. So let's see what we can do with that. Huh. Tuning and effects parameters are disabled, but the filter's still there. So you can use it as an external effects unit. Now it says tuning and effects are disabled, but I'm getting different effects. Oh, I see. The knob for effects is disabled, but the effects are there. So let's go, I'm going to take that back out and go back to source for regular kind of hi-hat. We'll turn it up some. I'm going to plug in an LFO into, where does this go? I'm going to plug in an LFO into effects. I'm going to plug an LFO into velocity. I'm going to swap around some more. I'm going to see if I can plug into both, open and closed at the same time. So you can have open and closed. You can have open and closed hat active at the same time, which is interesting. Going to go back to FX. I'm going to take this one back out. So there you can see pretty much what it does. Gets a good overview. A whole bunch of sources, whole bunch of FX, whole bunch of filters, and then some of the other things that I didn't go too deep in. And I didn't do the random stuff.
because I don't have time for that or want to go too deep in that. And then we can have our save and load. And I don't know what that does. Let me see what load does. Okay, we're going to turn this back up. We're going to go to load, and we can change the bank. Okay, because we can do this too. Looks like only bank 1 is enabled. Turn that back off. So again, there's a lot to play with in here, and it's a good unit. It's going to make good snares, rattles, other things. And let's look at the voltage. So peak is only 50. That's on the minus 12. So 100 current milliamps on the plus 12 with a peak of 106. So it does draw a good bit of power. But that's it. It's a good unit, as you saw. It didn't take that long to build. And lots to play with. So if you get this, I think you'll have a lot of fun making interesting, snappy percussion sounds. And I hope you enjoyed the video.